Yeah, one of the things that makes something like Robert the Doll scary is that is unexplainable. You know, why does this doll keep tormenting people over and over again throughout the years? Whereas if it's all psychological, you know, it's not scary anymore because then it's like, oh, it's just some guy that went crazy and left a haunting legacy. But yeah, the unexplainable will always be scarier and creepier than the psychological events that are completely within reasonable understanding. That's just how I feel. I don't want the Silent Hill series, if it ever comes back, to be just a purely psychological based series. You know, no supernatural, nothing supernatural like ghosts or demons or anything like that, because we saw how that worked in Silent Hill Shattered Memories. It was a great game, but it did not feel like a Silent Hill game. Will you jump in? Yeah, why not? It's only like a 500-mile long hole, right? We can take that. We're Batman. Even Spider-Man can fall from like the rooftop. I don't know how many feet and still be alive. So James has someone guiding him here. He'll be all right if he falls through all of those holes. Wait, I didn't want to go in there yet. So this is really clever design because you can see it feels like you're falling further and further on the ground, but you're not. You're just shifting between the different areas of the prison because there's a stair that will obviously lead to the floor upstairs. So you fell a long distance, but you didn't actually go anywhere that far because you see there's a staircase to, you know, there's the stairwell leading to the floor that we just left. As I approach the door, I get a whiff of some rotten smell coming from inside. Yeah, that's no good. It's obviously a morgue. Look at that, you can tell just by the walls. Whenever you see those tile-like things in a game, and they're all dirty like that, and they're somewhere nasty, you know that it's a morgue. It's either a morgue, a lab, or some type of meat preserving room, like a butcher's shop or something like that. But it's always something to do with dead bodies. Look at that door. That door looks nasty. Look at all that mold and probably blood and rust too. So I'd actually heard about the Agrippa thing much earlier on, before I even played Silent Hill. You know, one of the teachers I had when, I think it wasn't middle school. I think it was actually probably the last grade of elementary school or something like that. No, it was middle school. I think it was one of the early grades. We had a teacher. He was okay. He was also a gamer, so he played games like Oddworld and stuff like that. And he also chose some unusual literature for our classes. So like he would choose stories and stuff and books that we probably wouldn't get with any other teacher. And one of them, it wasn't a black magic book. Let's be clear, it wasn't a black magic book, but it was involving a character who referenced black magic and stuff like that, and stuff from the ancient Greeks. So even though I didn't really know quite what he was, I had heard of the name Agrippa before. The corpse smells nauseatingly of rotten flesh, and yet you still keep standing there smelling it, James. A horrible smell is coming from the hole. Yeah, I want to see what's in there. Can we see what's in there? No. There's something in the hole. It looks like it's all dismembered. No, I can't. I can't look anymore. James, you're a weenie. If that was Heather, she'd look. Of course, we know why she'd look, but she'd still do it anyway. She's braver than you. A 17-year-old girl has more balls than you do, James. A horrible smell is coming from the hole. But seriously, that must be sickening in real life if you were really standing in that room. Like, oh god, the smell alone would probably kill you. Did that just move, or was it only by imagination? Say it was probably your imagination, James, but considering the place we're in, no, you know it wasn't your imagination. You know it moved. It's not quite dead yet. My God. And the hole. I didn't see that. God, it reminds me of, what was that site that had all the gory pictures on that is still on there? It's still on the internet, I think. What is it? Ogrish.com? I saw some of those pictures before and read some of the, not articles, but little excerpts on that site. And believe me, I'm a strong gore hound in horror movies. Like, I've seen it all. And I demand that stuff sometimes if we're doing a horror movie. Because I know it's all special effects, so you just appreciate the artistry of it. Let me tell you, I do not want to look at some of those pictures again. The corpse smells nauseatingly of rotten flesh. What else would it smell like? Yeah, some of those photos with like car accident victims and horrible diseases and deadly shootings and stuff like that will test even the most hardened gore hound on that site. I don't know how people can run that and just stare and look at it. Yeah, you think you're gonna be fine. You think, oh, it's just a bunch of accident photos and stuff like that. It's nothing we haven't seen in horror movies or TV, right? I can handle it. No, you can't. And it was one of my first exposures to the darker side of the internet. That site, ogrish.com, along with goats. Anybody remember that? Oh my God, that was horrible. This corpse into this hole. Yep, so that's a hint that you're supposed to jump down. Not that you needed it, but I guess that's the way they would dispose of corpses. They would just throw them in a hole somewhere and bury them. I was also tempted to say earlier when he said, my God, in the hole. Yeah, I can imagine a lot of guys thinking that line of thought over the years when they were with a woman. My God, it went in the hole. What do I do now? Well, if it went in the hole, that's how you end up with the Little Blunders line from Sears, where I just recently worked at. You know, they had a toy line, not a toy line. They had a clothing line for babies called Little Wonders. I always call it Little Blunders for obvious reasons. You can see why. There's a hole in the floor. I can't see the bottom. How far does this thing go? Will you go down? Yes, I guess we have to. We've got no choice. You've got to admire how crazy James is, because it's one thing for a character like Batman to leap into a hole with a grappling hook. Or someone like Spider-Man to just jump down knowing that he'll survive the injury, that he'll resist being injured. But for a regular human being to just be jumping down holes that might stretch 1 or 2 or 3 miles long, that takes some guts. Like, say what you will about him, James Sunderland is a ballsy man. He doesn't have them as big as Heather. Heather has bigger balls than him, but he's still got guts. Okay, so we actually did the first trap room already, which was the well. It was a well where you get stuck in, and yet you basically have to use the or anything to pry out the bricks from the wall. Another hole. Do I really have to dodge through it? Will you go down? Yes. It's also interesting because when you're going down, you can see in some of them he's basically going sideways, like the corridor is all flipped up. So you're not really going down, you're basically warping ahead through the different areas of the prison. So I think this is it. I think we're gonna make the final push towards the finale, because I think there's only like 6 videos left at the most. You know, we're very near the end. So I think this night and then maybe another night, and we'll be done, because there's not much left in the game. I always liked how that door sounded. Look at that. Looks like the lock is broken. I can't open it. I don't know. You could try pushing through it with the steel pipe if you goes the long elevator down to hell. Alright, so they give us some ammo here. Shotgun shells, handgun bullets, rifle shells, and a first aid kit. So you know what's coming up. You know what boss is coming up, totally. So this is the second longest elevator in the Silent Hill series. The first one being the one at the Brookhaven Hospital, obviously, because that thing goes on forever, as long as the radio show goes on. Damn, look at that. Look at how many floors it is. It's like a mining elevator. Alright, so we've got enough time to just shoot the breeze here. One thing I always wondered though is how they build those places in real life. You know, like when you have facilities, whether they're for the government or they're mining, that are, you know, like thousands of feet down. Like, I know they use obviously drills and boring equipment and stuff like that to get through, but like how do they actually get down that far in the first place? You know, I know obviously people have been doing it for hundreds or thousands of years, but I'm just always amazed at how you can build so far underground and still have, you know, like reasonable complexes and infrastructure miles down below the surface. Like, that's just always awesome to me. And we're gonna save, because this is the first time in a year almost that I've used the recording equipment for the PS2, and I don't trust it. I don't trust this game capture card for the PS2. I trust it for the PS4 and PS3 because those don't give me any trouble, but the PlayStation 2, like, I remember sometimes the screen will start to go black or will start to tear and anything can go wrong. So now we're in a completely different part of the... This is the Labyrinth. So before we go in here, we're going to make sure that we're fully armed. Alright, got 10 bullets, 6 shotgun shells, and this doesn't need to be reloaded. Yeah, we're not wasting time with these guys, we're just gonna shoot them down. Got 2 for 1. Okay, we need a first aid kit because that's just taking way too much damage. Yeah, lay down. They're called lying figures actually, so that's what they should do. Lay down. I just noticed a growl from one of them. I didn't know they could growl. I can hear his footsteps, but where is he? Right, he's close. Yeah, cut that out. I really like the design of this area because look at it. It basically looks not clean because it's all dirty, but it looks a lot more normal than the rest of the, you know, the prison, even though this is obviously the farthest thing from normal. You know, this is obviously not normal at all. Well, and here's a really cool area I want to show you guys. So you want to move quickly here. Yeah, see, good thing we saved. There's Pyramid Head right there. You can just run into it. Damn, we got the Mandarin too. They're just double teaming you at this point. That must have scared the hell out of people when they first saw it. Uh-oh, and here's his lair. You can tell it's his by the fan, and see the boxes there, just like in the painting? And if that wasn't damning enough, there's the great knife, which he switched out for a spear. Got the great knife. Got shotgun shells. And you can see he was doing a lot of either weird mutilations in there. What could this be used for? I don't want to even think about it. Yeah, come on, you know what it's used for, James. He is just prying open corpses in there. All those hanging from there, that's what he's doing. 'Cause he's a butcher, so, and an executioner. So come on, you know what he's doing there. Although it's kind of neat of him to have a light, isn't it? Like, there you go, he's not a complete barbarian. He actually does have a little exit light on his door to help you get out of there. Or maybe to help him get out of there when it's dark. Okay, so I think we have to go right. Gotta avoid those sharp corners because he might be there. So we're not going to use the great knife because it's cumbersome and it's a burden on you, and it's basically an awful weapon to use. Like, it kills everything in one hit, but it's so slow and gigantic that it's basically one of the worst weapons in the game. You can see it right here. Massive weapon wielded by Pyramid Head. Hard to use but lethal. It is not a sword or a sawing blade, it is a great knife. A lot of people think it's a sword sometimes, but there's a reason why it's so heavy, because it basically signifies a burden that he's carrying. And I won't spoil for you what that burden is. I can't get through here because of the wire stretch across the path. Alright, so we need to find a wire cutter. I like how his footsteps sound in this place too. Like, it almost sounds like a decent tile up place. If you notice the map, there is no map really. You're making it up as you go along, which tells you a lot about what this place actually is. You know, it's basically nowhere. You're in nowhere. Like, there's no real concrete structure to this place. It's just appearing out of thin air. So we're gonna have the spitting enemies as soon as we go down there. So you wanna equip and ready your shotgun, because there they are. Technically, if you turn off your flashlight and leave it off, they can't spot you. You know, because they need the light in order to see you. It's not like some of the Resident Evil monsters where they can kind of smell you or sense where you are through sound. Like, these actually do need light to see you, but the problem is, if you turn off the flashlight, you can't see them, so you're basically blind. And especially in this area, okay, so we've got to go back because I think we actually missed something here. You know what, we'll go back later. We'll go back later. Here's a nice block puzzle. But as you can see, we can't reach it yet. Oh yeah, we can. We just have to do it from this side. Okay, so that didn't do it. I always forget the solution to this puzzle. I've been playing this game nearly 20 years and I still always forget the solution to this puzzle. I just don't know the logic that it's supposed to operate on. Like, I understand the basics of the puzzle, but I always forget the doors. Because basically each set of eyes stands for a door. Nope, still no good. Okay, so we need to get one of those doors straight. I hate puzzles like this where you're relying basically on chance. Yeah, I think we got it. Nope. Yep. One. Yep, there it is. So now let's go back to the story and get a nice little cutscene here.
You're alive! Maria, I thought that thing killed you. Are you hurt bad?
Not at all, silly.
Maria? That thing, it stabbed you. There was blood everywhere.
Stabbed me? What do you mean?
It chased us to the elevator, and then
James, what are you talking about?
just before, don't you remember?
James, honey, did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
Maria?
You said you took everything, but you forgot that videotape we made. I wonder if it's still there.
How do you know about that? Aren't you Maria?
I'm not your Mary.
So, you're Maria?
I am. If you want me to be.
All I want from you is an answer.
It doesn't matter who I am. I'm here for you, James. See? I'm real.
No, you're not.
Don't you want to touch me?
I don't know.
Come and get me.
I can't do anything through these bars.
Okay. Stay right there. I'll be there soon.
Liar, you can do plenty through those bars, you know. You can suck him off. If you're James, you can lick her. You can do plenty through those bars. Look, now we conveniently got the pair of wire cutters that we need. I've got to admire James' voice actor's attempt to be emotional. It's funny, a lot of people say that voice acting in this game is horrible, but no, the voice acting for her is pretty good. She's a great voice actress. The lady playing Maria. And Eddie's a great actor too, whoever that guy is. So it's a mixed bag. Like, it's not all horrible. A lot of it's actually pretty good. It's just James who suffers the most problem, I think, in his act. It fits him because he's supposed to be corny in some ways, like Harry from the first game, like Henry from the fourth game. So, like, if the voice acting was perfect, then it wouldn't really add to the oddness of this whole thing. Because these people are obviously mentally disturbed, all of them, in some way or another. You know, James is an alcoholic and an addict. Angela has her own problems. Eddie has his own problems, obviously. It's like, it kind of feels like the voice acting's a little odd, too. Alright, so we're gonna go and cut the wires, but we're also gonna try to find the secret pyramid hit room. Not the one we were in, but there's another one where he's also coming at you. Oh yeah, we went through. Yeah, we went that way. This is the one where we didn't go through. Ow. Yeah, that one's the one. I don't think... Oh yeah, because that's the one we gotta cut, obviously. Duh. No, but there's another one. There's two secret spaces, I think, that you can get through. You don't have to go in there, but I like to go in there just for completion's sake. Because I imagine if you were exploring this place, you would want to explore every single nook and cranny of it, just to make sure you've got everything you can find in there. A lot of people hate Maria. I kind of... I don't like that she's defenseless. That always bugs me in games. It's stupid. Like, just give the person a knife or something. At least give them something with which to defend themselves. So I don't like that part. But I like her personality. I like how out and open she is with her sexuality, even though there's obviously a very strong reason for it. Yep, so this is just an empty room, so you can see it's basically forming on its own. And there's a lot of corners here that don't really add up to anything. They're just diversions to distract you from the real place you're supposed to go. can never read in these games. No matter no matter how many times I've played them, I always forget the map and the layout of the buildings and such. Resident Evil and games like this, Silent Hill, I always forget them. And there's actually an achievement you can get in Silent Hill Origins for doing the map, for only using the map 3 times. And let me tell you, that is almost impossible, because there is a building in that game, the Insane Asylum, or the Mental Institution, as they call it, that is so big, so wide and expansive, and so dark that you can basically get lost in it. And so to only use the map once, 3 times, is basically an achievement on its own. Yeah, there's basically 4 sections to this, I think, or 5. I don't think this is where I want to go yet, because I want to get to the secret room. But we might as well get these guys here. Okay, no, so we already went there. Like I said, I know that probably leads to the main path, but I want to get to the other room first, just to see it. You're gonna pay for that. Got something extra special for you for that. Okay, no, so this is the main path. So I'm gonna go back because I recognize the metal grating on the floor. That's how you know it's the main path leading to the story. So now I'm gonna go explore this first. Then I'll go over there. Damn, I hate how they come back in hard mode. Like, it makes the game a lot tougher, but at the same time, it's kind of annoying that you kill loads and loads of them and they just keep coming back. They're not even that dangerous too, they're just an inconvenience. Alright, so we've got an almost complete map of the labyrinth now, because I think the other secret chamber is coming up after this segment. After this little section right here. Yeah, they actually deal a lot more damage when they're in that crab state. Just scurrying around out there, they actually deal a lot more damage than they do normally. There's Pyramid Head, he's coming. So we gotta go the other way. Well, that is where we're supposed to go, but I actually want to see if I can get to the last room before that. Do it without this son of a bitch stabbing me with the spear. God damn, there's too many of them. Let's reset it. Let's see if that'll reset it. Yeah, that annoys me when they're right there. Yeah, passed right by him. sneak by him. Right past him. Damn. No, he can't. He got us. James runs so slow in the water. That's part of what holds him up. Yep, here we are. Hidden treasure trove. Handgun bullets. And more handgun bullets. I think they can switch between that and shotgun bullets depending on the game. But it's definitely a little more extra ammo if you're willing to risk getting stabbed by this guy. And that's it. I think we completed all of the labyrinth before this important section.